Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all. I hope you're enjoying the Connections event today with us. We know lots of you have asked many questions about migration. Today, I want to make the situation clearer and help you with customer conversations. I'm James Turner. I'm the Director of Sales Enablement at Kentico Experience. I work in the product team and closely with product marketing and Kentico sales to make sure that our messages are aligned, and I lead sales and partner enablement. So let's take a look at the agenda. So in the next 30 minutes, I'll explain our position and advice when it comes to migration to Experience by Kentico. We'll look at product portfolio, and we'll start with a recap of our products and the roadmap. We'll look at migration considerations, so what's important and what are the technical implications for what we need to do. Then we'll look specifically more at Kentico Experience 13 to Experience by Kentico. And we'll discuss more specifics around planning in terms of how we'll support it, what you can migrate, and when to migrate. Then we'll explore migration scenarios for customers on Kentico 12 and Kentico Experience 13. So let's get into it. Before we discuss migration, we should consider the future vision, as the portfolio has now arrived at a critical junction. We have committed to developing a new platform, Experience by Kentico, which will become the successor of Kentico Experience 13 and our new cloud offering, Experience Managed Cloud Service. We're building on our principles of easy-to-use functionality that delivers a comprehensive all-in-one DXP, but we're making it better than ever with new cutting-edge technologies and superior UX. It's vital to build on the quality we already deliver today, and we have many happy customers. At the same time, we needed to adapt and facilitate changes in customers' digital behavior. People expect all their devices and channels to be synchronized, so marketers must find solutions to send the right message at the right time on the right channel. We expect Experience by Kentico and our new cloud service to become our flagship offering and platform of choice in the future, but this will take some time. Our beta program was designed to gather feedback from partners as early as possible. We'll continue with this approach in 2022 with the Experience Adopters Program, or ZAP for short. As many of you may have seen the ZAP presentation yesterday, we have lots of information on the partner portal. In essence, you'll be able to sell Experience by Kentico and our new cloud service from June this year. So firstly, when we're looking at our versions and how they've evolved, let's recap the situation on some of the older versions. So Kentico 12, previously called Kentico CMS or EMS, supported to the end of the year, December 2022 for MVC, or 2023 for Portal Engine. These customers are perhaps most relevant to the subject of migration. We understand you need guidance for future planning, and you'll be out of support soon. We'll look at specific scenarios shortly towards the end of the presentation and go into it a little bit further. Since we've spoken publicly about Experience by Kentico, we've had lots of questions about the ongoing support and development of Experience 13. We want to make it very clear that whilst we are developing Experience by Kentico and the cloud service for the future, we will ensure our existing customers and very new customers about to implement have long-term support and product enhancements through regular refreshes until at least 2024. And very likely beyond, and support will be ongoing until at least 2026. We actually expect this will be extended to satisfy the needs of our customers too, especially those with long-term contracts. So far in the future is hard to predict, but rest assured the comfort of our current customers will be the priority. As a result of this, we're going to have a period of transition. There'll be a natural point in time when the new Experience by Kentico product will offer enough depth to become the first choice portfolio option for most customers. This point in time will be different for different customers based on what functionality is important to them and what stage they are currently at in their project lifecycle. There'll be a period where customers will have a choice. Both versions will have regular refreshes and running side by side, so ultimately, which solution matches the customer needs will be the question. And when should you make the jump to the latest version? This section goes into more detail about factors affecting migration with business and technical considerations. Before we get into specifics, We should understand that planning a migration is a long-term process that needs many things in the right place before pressing forwards. So during this period of transition, the customer will be somewhere on their journey in terms of their business priorities. For all our current experienced customers, there are three key things to remember. Firstly, they're on the right platform now to take advantage of our solutions in the future. We're introducing the latest experience version and they can move to it when they're ready. And furthermore, we're here to support them through the process. Secondly, there will be a migration process to help them. This is not a complete replatform that they need to plan for the future. And thirdly, just because we are making something new doesn't mean our customers have to upgrade immediately, of course. Experience 13 will have long-term refreshes to 2024 and beyond, and we'll continue to make it better for years ahead, and even longer-term support until at least 2026. For Kentico 12 customers, they already have a path to Experience 13. So the key takeaway here is, when the customer is ready, we will support the migration to Experience by Kentico. So they're ready to make the change to a new business application. In our case, it's their DXP. So there's lots to consider here too. Organizations need to know that their destiny is secure, and that includes the business applications they choose to work with, particularly the longevity of their product and commercial roadmap. They must plan years ahead to protect themselves against rash decisions that could prove to be wrong for their business. Their DXP is no different. So they need peace of mind that they're investing in a platform that delivers a long-time ROI and minimizes the cost of expensive upgrades or replatforming. As discussed already, customers have long-term stability with Experience 13, and they will have a clear path to the next generation version experienced by Kentico. All this without having to replatform to a brand new solution, which significantly reduces overall cost and resources that will be burned during a complete replatform. So how can we quantify what we mean by migration anyway? So let's think about a use case to clarify the understanding. A customer has a website running on Experience 13, .NET 6. The implementation team did a fantastic job. They followed best practices, and they're helping to ensure that it was a future-proof implementation. They've seen a demo of Experience by Kentico. They like the future product concepts and believe replatforming now is the right decision for them. So to migrate means the goal is that the website will stay mostly the same for visitors, but the client will migrate to a new administration site with new features and abilities. This is something we are calling migration in the world of DXP systems. It sounds easy. Unfortunately, it's not that way, and it's not straightforward. Technically, it means that developers will install the new product and transfer your data, the customizations, the public site or live site to the new product. If you think about buying a new smartphone as an analogy, so the one that you've got at the moment, it's old, and you decide to buy the same model, same color, the same size, but the latest version. And of course, you need to transfer your data. The advantages to you is the latest operating system that your old phone does not support. With its new shiny UI, it's faster, it has a better battery life, and it's more intuitive. So under the hood, the functionality and the usability is much better. However, to anybody else, it looks identical to your old phone. So it's a bit like the customer's website. It's the same on the outside, but everything under the hood and all the admin has been improved. So the goal is to keep the website the same for visitors while migrating to a new administration. When we think about what affects decisions a little more technically in product terms, firstly, we have internal challenges. So like most business applications, Kentico Experience has several older versions with varying support cycles. The current flagship offering is Kentico Experience 13. We have a new platform on the horizon that will introduce enhancements in an early access fashion through the Experience Adopters program. So while the new Experience by Kentico platform will be high quality from the start, releasing all the features will be a gradual process. So there's a lot to consider as you navigate a roadmap to see how the solution will evolve to meet project requirements. When we think about external factors, this is really to do with the underlying technology. So Microsoft have invested in a major marketing launch around .NET Core, which left a long-lasting impression. There's still a general market perception that it's their newest technology driving into the future. Concepts of .NET Core are still here today, and it indeed did change the Microsoft ecosystem a lot. But .NET Core is ending by version 3.1, with support ending in December 2022. Essentially, the core part of Microsoft naming convention has been dropped and replaced with numbers. So .NET 6 is the latest version framework release. We believe it was the right decision for Kentico Experience 13 to support .NET Core, and we will continue to strive to support the latest cutting-edge tech on the market, with Experience by Kentico moving to .NET 6 or latest version. As a result of moving between versions and changes in the underlying technology, there will be breaking changes. So how does this play out in the world of Kentico Experience? Kentico is always kept up to date with Microsoft best practices and frameworks, resulting in older versions being designed to work with different technologies. To transition from one technology to the next would mean a breaking change, and for us, this is specific to Microsoft Web Forms or Portal Engine to ASP.NET MVC5 or ASP.NET Core, or Microsoft.NET Core Framework to .NET 6 and newer or latest version. When considering an upgrade in terms of minimum requirements, these are the deal breakers. To migrate to Kentico Experience 13, you must be using MVC. To migrate to the new Experience by Kentico, you must be using .NET 6 or latest version. The quality of implementation and following our development and content modeling best practices are key when considering any migration. So now we'll move on and talk a little bit more specifically about some details around Experience 13 to Experience by Kentico migration. And this section explains how Kentico will help with migration when it's the right time for a customer to begin their journey. For clarity at this point, the only supported migration path to the new Experience by Kentico will be from Experience 13, and there's no direct route from Kentico 12. For all Experience 13 customers, we will help by offering the following support. We'll have a migration toolkit that transfers data to Experience by Kentico, which is a set of tools and materials for data migration. So at this moment, we expect to provide an extensible toolkit for data migration, guidelines for changes in Business API for live site and integrations, and full documentation, plus consultation services through our customer success team. And furthermore, we know that all projects are different and need to be flexible. Our toolkit will be open source, allowing you to modify data according to your project needs. So let's explore now what we can actually migrate. The short answer is our objective is to migrate as much data as possible. You can appreciate, I hope at the moment, that the product has a lot of growing to do. So the list of things that we can migrate will grow all the time. There may still be reasons and scenarios where migration won't be possible. One of them stems from the fact that Experience by Kentico will not have precisely the same feature set as Experience 13. Most of the functionality will remain. However, in some instances, there will not be a corresponding feature and subsequently, data migration just won't be possible. In other cases, the migration may require manual adjustments. So this could occur where Experience by Kentico capabilities would in fact be much richer than those in Experience 13. In this scenario, we may support a default migration, but knowledge of the specific project will be essential to unlocking the full potential of the new capability. Although not exhaustive, here's some examples of what we can do as of Experience by Kentico Refresh 6 or Milestone 6 in June this year. So structured content, where content is managed on the Content tab in the Pages application. We can only migrate content that is manageable in Experience by Kentico. Although we expect the majority will be imported by default, it could be possible that specific fields are controlled by form controls that do not have an equivalent successor in the new product yet. So these scenarios are likely to be edge cases, but partners should be prepared to manage them somewhat manually. Content in Page Builder widgets. So we'll support widgets equivalent to Experience 13, and our toolkit will migrate the stored content into Experience by Kentico. In terms of users, we'll migrate user accounts and their details available in Experience by Kentico. So this is important concerning document creation and version changes. Please note, for example, in Experience by Kentico, our security improvements include enhanced password criteria to improve password strength. So in this scenario, users could be migrated without passwords, and they would need to use the forgotten password feature. Attachments. So the recommended approach for storing files for milestone 6 or refresh 6 is the media library. Therefore, the toolkit will support the migration of media files. And furthermore, the toolkit will also support migrating attachments to the media library. In later refreshes, we'll have a new centralized storage for content and media, which will surpass the features and usability of both the media library and attachments. So once released, the migration toolkit will be extended to enable the migration of this improved storage. In terms of digital marketing, so refresh or milestone 6 already comes with support for digital marketing features such as content management, activity tracking, and consents, which the migration toolkit will support. Some features are not yet developed in the full scope of previous versions, so the migration is also possible, but with certain limitations, such as contact groups and online forms. So in terms of our plans for after milestone 6, we will continue extending the migration toolkit to reflect new or unlocked features after every milestone. Details of the enhanced usability will be reflected accordingly within the materials for the most recent refresh. And after refresh or milestone 6, we will continue expanding all areas. From the platform side of things, you can expect additions regarding custom module development, extending roles and permissions capabilities, and the extension towards hybrid headless. With content management features, we will align these with our new atomic content focus, therefore embracing more channels, including multiple websites, multiple languages, centralized asset library, and adjusting available visual builders such as the page builder. And in terms of digital marketing, you can also expect more features supporting our multi-experience initiative. Introducing support for email marketing, marketing automation, or customer journeys is firmly in our plans for the future. So there'll also be some manual elements at this stage. So imagine your live site is built on Experience 13.NET 6. It must be on .NET 6 or newer for migration. There would be specific changes necessary to make it run on Experience by Kentico because of differences in our content modeling best practices. It's the same theory as integrations. If we change some functionality, it may be necessary to implement specific changes in website code to react to that. And there will also be cases where nothing changes. In both cases, it's mainly about implementing changes from Experience by Kentico. So let's say you rely on categories. We develop another similar but not identical functionality that replaces it. It will be necessary to reconnect the business API to the new categories application to ensure that it works. The administration of Experience 13 is running on web forms. Experience by Kentico runs its admin on .NET 6 and React. Therefore, all custom modules and improvements to administration will need to be redeveloped to support the new admin interface. Complete documentation and examples of customer modules for common scenarios will be available for reference. So now we come to the big question. When should I upgrade to the latest Kentico product? This can be tackled with two major criteria in mind. The first and most important factor is when the customer is ready. Many things determine an organization's readiness to move to the latest version or release of a product. Where is the client on their project lifecycle, for example? Or what's their budget situation? Or do they want to do something completely new? All these factors that don't necessarily involve the product as such. And our job is to ensure they are supported on their current solution until those questions are answered. And the answers to those questions then point to an upgrade being required. So only then can we consider if the new product is ready to deliver the necessary functionality required by the customer at that moment in time. Experience by Kentico will follow the refresh methodology of Experience 13, providing updates and new enhancements every quarter. So we'll communicate this clearly in demo videos and materials for marketers and technical documentation for developers. We will also regularly present an up-to-date roadmap so you can see what's on the horizon, and of course you can talk to us with your client requirements and we can help recommend the best approach. Our customer success team is always here to support customer migrations now and will be, of course, in the future. So let's take a look at some of these different scenarios and understand some of our recommendations. Here we can see an overview of all the paths from the perspective of where you are now. As we have mentioned earlier, the only supported route in Experience by Kentico is from Experience 13, .NET 6, or latest Microsoft version. We will go through each scenario in turn. Before we do, let's confirm what we mean by some of the terms that you can see now on the slide. So when we look at the list on the left-hand side, so to upgrade, what we mean and how we classify is the classical upgrade from Kentico 12 MVC to Experience 13 MVC. When we say move, we mean moving support and technology from MVC to .NET 6 or latest version. To migrate is always, as I've already said, from Experience 13 .NET 6 to Experience by Kentico .NET 6. Transitioning would be a significant process from Portal Engine to MVC, to .NET Core or to .NET 6, and it's a major effort to a business. Hence, we've referenced this separately. Where we term major changes now means the customer has a need to make significant changes to their digital presence now, in line with the overall digital marketing or sales strategy of the business. So in terms of cost, the scale will help customers to understand which paths would require more budget than others. So if we now look at the first scenario from Kentico 12 Portal Engine, the major consideration is the support expiration of Kentico 12 Portal Engine end of year 2023. Customers need to find a solution soon, but they still have some time to understand their options. As I've already stated, when considering utilizing our future DXP platform, it's only possible to migrate from Experience by Kentico via 13.NET 6. Therefore, the recommendation for Portal Engine customers is to transition to Experience 13 and move to .NET 6 before the end of 2023. They will then be supported until at least 2026, and the customer can subsequently plan a long-term supported migration path to Experience by Kentico when it suits them. Exactly when the customer chooses to undertake the transition could depend on many factors, but in this scenario, budget constraints could be the most important. This requires a migration or a rewrite of the whole live website due to different technology, and also depends on a number of integrations, content approach, and customizations. So now we can look at Kentico 12 MVC. The major consideration here is the support expiration of Kentico 12 MVC end of year 2022. So these customers need to find a solution now to ensure continued support. The upgrade would need to happen before the end of the year, so the key question here could be, are there any major or complex website changes planned imminently? Or as you can see on the slide, any major changes now. Examples of this could be rebranding, front-end design, new websites, integrations, custom code, and so on. If the answer to that question is no, it could be logical to implement a lower cost Kentico 12 MVC to Experience 13 MVC upgrade, gain extra support years to at least 2026, and manage a move to .NET 6 or latest version at a later date when major changes are needed. If the answer to the question is yes, then it could make sense to implement these changes now, with a Kentico 12 MVC to Experience 13 upgrade and a move to .NET 6, and therefore supported to at least 2026 again. This will be a higher cost option than MVC to MVC. However, it has the advantage of being well positioned for a migration to Experience by Kentico in the future when the time is right. The final scenario is for Experience 13 customers who are currently on MVC. So these guys have more time to plan the migration to Experience by Kentico. There's no supported migration path from MVC directly to Experience by Kentico, but they are already supported to at least the end of 2026 on their current position. So this path would require a move to .NET 6 and then migration from there. So the decision when to migrate will be more business orientated. So when the customer is ready, when it makes sense as part of their overall digital strategy, and to understand when the new product can meet the project requirements as the roadmap delivers more functionality. Thanks so much for your time today. I hope the situation is now clearer, and I'll look forward to answering some of your questions when I'll be joined by Jakob, our CTO, and the project management team. Thanks a lot.